Hey, it's Tim. Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk. Joined by the 5'1" of the world, Jill Ciminillo from Chicago. And
Yes.
so, yeah, I don't know why I say Chicago all the time. I have to place you. I'm in Western Nebraska, Gearing, by the way. No specifics.
Yeah, not in Chicago. You are not in Chicago.
Not anywhere close. We're not married. What are the details we got to get out there? We have a lot of stuff going on tonight, and stuff that we haven't talked about. So it just literally happened today that we are going to be on News Nation tomorrow morning. If you didn't check the post I put on the YouTube channel, I haven't made it really public yet because I'm waiting for the clip from the news person who's working on it. But I did do some sound bites for them for a topic that we're talking about tonight: the Ford Lightning price drops. Actually, the same conversation we had with the News Nation folks. It's crazy. So like they reached out to Jill, and then I know Jill was really busy today. She reached out so we don't know how they did it. Is our end story.
We don't know how they decided to talk to us.
Right.
But yeah, they called me and I was already driving out to the suburbs for the Car Stuff podcast. And I was like, well, I could talk to you after 5 o'clock. But if you are looking for somebody more immediately, like go talk to Tim. And they're like, yeah, we'll do that. And I was like, all right.
Yeah, it was a random phone call that I just I took, and I've been taking more random phone calls, which is a good and bad thing. But I took it, and then it was a good conversation. And basically, from the time they called me to the time the interview was done was like 20 minutes. Like it was a Zoom invite to meet because they're like, "Are you busy?" I'm like, "No, I'm actually sitting here right now, figuring out my next plan of action." So I just got done cleaning some vehicles and was washing some stuff. And then they're like, "What's next?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know yet." So then they're like, "Hey, can you do this right away?" So they sent me a Zoom link Zoom link, and we did Zoom, and we were just done with it. So it was fantastic. And no, I do not take any of Dave's random calls, especially after 9 p.m. Because he's in the hot tub, and I know what happens in hot tubs. No deal. No, not happening. So let's see. Other stuff going on. We have a new Chevy Traverse we're going to talk about tonight. We have a new Hyundai Santa Fe we're going to talk about later tonight. With the Ford Lightning news. Hyundai, like Sunday. God, I thought I had it close. My mind is spinning because not only do we have all that stuff going on, but we have all this stuff going on with the Woodward Dream Cruise project that's going on. If you don't know the details on that, taking the Silverado out to Michigan, towing the 62 C10. And I got details today from Catskin Leather. They are going to somehow sew the word Swede into the seat and do like silver pinstriping around the seats and all sorts of different things. So kind of excited to see what that looks like. And then we just made a plan with Mr. Wheelman here in town, and we're going to do all the aftermarket accessories, that kind of stuff on that truck. So that stuff's all moving forward as well. Just a crazy amount of stuff. But Jill is home. She had, I'm going to go with the air quotes, exciting travel week last week. Very exciting. So
actually travel from hell.
Right. So Jill, you land at 3 a.m. and then you're up at like what time to get to the airport? So how does that work out?
Yeah, so last week I went to the Bronco Off Rodeo in Las Vegas, which was really flipping cool, by the way, because it was a Raptor specific program. And like, first off, I was delayed 3 hours going out to Las Vegas. So my 3-hour flight became like really a 6-hour experience. Then like on the way back, I got delayed like 6 hours. And I guess it was more like 4 hours. I was supposed to land in Chicago at like 11, didn't land until 3 p.m. because of tornadoes in Chicago. And there was a mechanical issue with the plane before it even got to Las Vegas. And so I get home at 3 a.m. And coincidentally, my Rebel partner got stuck in Chicago. So I made my husband go pick her up at the airport. She ended up staying at our house and I wasn't even there yet. I didn't even see her. She like left before I woke up the next morning and she was already out. And so then I had to go back to the airport at like 11 the next day to go to, I'm like, where in the hell did I go?
New York. You went to Atlas.
Albany, New York for the Volkswagen Atlas. And then that was the never ending trip trying to get home. I got delayed. Then we get on the plane, we get off the plane, we get back on the plane. We head to Chicago and I'm like, okay, we're cool. We're getting ready to land. And they're like, nope, just kidding. And then we diverted to Indianapolis. So we get to Indianapolis and we get on the plane, we get off the plane, we get on the plane, we get back off the plane. Then they're like, okay, we're going to put you back on the plane and we're going. And this is like at 2 a.m. And we get on the plane and like, as we're getting on, they're like, we have to manually check you in because their system was down. So we missed the weather window to get off the ground because they had to manually check everybody in. So back off the plane. So thankfully my parents lived in Indianapolis, and so I was able to just go stay at their house. And then I was back at the airport at 10 a.m. the next morning to do my 38-minute flight from Indianapolis to Chicago. And I'm like, at what point do I cut bait and just rent a car? You know?
So, yeah, if you guys think that our business travel is glamorous, there you go. And as Dave points out, click the like button or else Jill will haunt you.
I will find you. I'm good at
that. Yeah, yeah, that was going on all last week. So by the way, FYI, our VW Atlas Cross video is delayed, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's delayed.
You know why? Because we're on 16 delays. Still back from Jill. So yeah, we have lots. That's coming out as well. So let's talk about this Ford Lightning price drop. This is interesting. I wrote the story up on pickuptrucktalk.com, and this interesting question: can Ford make money at this new lowest price point?
Ooh. I'm gonna say no.
I'm gonna say no.
And by the way, this is one of my running friends from Chicago. So hi, Dan.
Hey, Dan.
I'm gonna say no. They cannot make money, and they know they can't make money.
So when I talked to News Nation today, I've seen a lot of people talk about online about this. They've been saying, well, the competition has dropped the pricing, so Ford's got to respond. And I'm like, to a degree, right? To a certain degree. But the people don't realize is that the lithium pricing for the minerals has bottomed out. Like it was a free fall last year because once China ended subsidies for the EV marketplace, lithium pricing went because demand diminished in China, which is one of the world's largest automotive markets is in China. And so demand diminished, lithium pricing fell to a free fall. And we've seen these automakers, and Jill and I have done these stories, where pricing on EVs just continues to fluctuate quite a bit. It's like up and down and up and down. Every day it's a different story, right? It goes higher and goes lower and goes higher and lower. And I think that really, for my aspect, I know Ford's talking about they've had efficiencies and the plant's more on par, yada, yada, yada. Really, it's lithium pricing because the majority of price of an EV is in the battery. The EV platforms like a skateboard, you have the middle with the battery, you have a motor or two motors, whatever, set of tires, suspension, build whatever you want on top of that. There's really no difference. And so, and Elliot points out the price will change before summer is over. Probably, if people think that gas prices are volatile and they change quite a bit, you go look at a lithium pricing chart. I should actually pull one up. A lithium chart, lithium ore chart is quite amazing. What happens with lithium charts? Let's see if I pull one up here. Yeah, here.
Well, sure. I'm like, I can see it in the background before he's putting it up on the screen.
So for those who are listening to us on a podcast, let's see, November. I guess that's November of 2022, right? I guess that's what we're looking at. Was it 600,000? Whatever the number is going to be, 600,000, whatever. And it dropped in May down to almost 150,000. Yeah. And now it's back up to 307,000. That's what I was talking about. That's when the Chinese market, the Chinese government stopped doing EV subsidies. The market just crashed on lithium because demand crashed. And so now we're coming back to a point where it's more steady. And so that makes the forecasters at Ford be able to say, hey, it's a little more steady for the last couple months. Let's reduce the pricing back down. And so for me, the bigger story here is from an EV standpoint, people buying these EV vehicles. As we talked about, Jill did a story last week we talked about where used EV pricing really took the bigger hit, right? So so if you think that a vehicle is a depreciating asset and it's not worth, doing something with it because it's a depreciating asset, go buy an EV. You'll see, holy cow, depreciation go down. So marketing big point. So when does mining become green? It doesn't. The reality of EVs is that there are more environmentally harmful to build, but over the lifespan of EV, it does create less CO2 emissions. That's what it is. That's just the big story. So it is a really interesting question about why is the price dropping so much? Why is it? And it's going to go back up in the summer, like Elliot probably points out. And so does it really matter? And the people, so the question I had today, and you guys put it on in the comments, I'd be curious about this. The question today was, the guy asked me, he says, do you think that the Lightning price dropping by $10,000 will make customers more interested in EV?
No.
I had the same reaction.
And the reason is because the infrastructure isn't in place. It doesn't matter. Like, you can spend $10 on an EV, but if you still feel the anxiety of getting stranded someplace, it's the $10 is not worth it.
Yeah, and I don't think that pricing is going to move the EV market to a degree. I think you'll find some people may be interested, but on a mainstream level, as you said, you can make the pricing as low as you want. But unless these other factors are addressed, I just don't see it's going to happen. And there are real reasons for EVs being better. Like, I was just talking to a friend today about it, and I said, women charging at night, which you did the video on.
Yeah.
It's not, I guess ideal is not even the word to say it. I mean, it's not even great. It's not even awesome. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And then you have the other concerns about, for me, charging at home, plus also charging at my Airbnb where I'm go to. If I go, let's say I drove to Jill's house in EV, like, I don't want to go sit and charge for 4 hours, for like an hour and drive back to Jill's house. I don't care. And so I don't know. I think that there's some big issues that are not price dependent on EVs and replacing the batteries. There's a lot. Oh yeah, I just said that, and Brian Shirley pointed out the normal consumers are starting to wise up to the cost of replacement batteries. They can guarantee the price of a replacement battery, or why would anyone buy a used EV? That's the other question too. Like, why would you buy? I've said it at the time. Why would you buy a used EV? Like, to me, I don't know. What do you think of that one?
I do have an argument for a used EV, and it's. I mean, would I buy it? For me, no. However, if I were a parent and I had a child who was, they were going to have their first car, and you didn't want to have them, have unlimited capabilities to be able to drive, like, from here to Timbuktu, I think that's the perfect use case for a used EV, because their range is going to be limited, and they're not, they're not going to be able to drive beyond the limit, because then they're going to have to stop and charge for 2 hours. So exactly how far they're going, because they are just pre-controlled, frankly, by the limits of the vehicle. And so I could see a use case there. I can see a use case, like, especially if you have 2 cars. So I don't think like a used EV could be somebody's only car, but if you have 2 cars, so like John and I have, my husband and I, we have a Volkswagen GTI. So that is our car that we share. And we, sometimes if I have an EV and I don't trust the range, we drive that to Indianapolis. However, for me, like, if I were going to get a car and, it was just going to be my around town vehicle, and I was going to leave it in the garage and plug it into my 110 volt, whatever, most of the time, and then drive 5 miles to the gym and 5 miles back, and maybe 20 miles out to the suburbs to meet a friend for lunch and 20 miles back. If that's what I was going to use the car for, then it makes a lot of sense. I would never have to stop at a public charger, because I'm not going to road trip it. I would never have to, worry about charging at night, because I'm going to be plugging it into my wall jack at home. And I would never have to worry about range, because that's not the primary purpose of the vehicle. The purpose of the vehicle is to drive less than 50 miles to get me to my immediate vicinity. And I don't personally, I force myself to drive places out in the suburbs or whatever, so I can put miles in the car. But I personally very rarely, other than, I now have to drive to Indianapolis every other weekend, I don't have to put a lot of miles on the car.
Right.
So those are the 2 use cases I could see it for.
Yeah, and I know Nathan over at TFL, he bought his daughter a used Nissan Leaf that had 70 miles of range for the same reason, that she couldn't drive very far. It just kind of kept that situation going.
Yeah.
I could see that too, but I don't know. It is an interesting discussion to have, and things are changing so rapidly. I mean, I meet people all the time that are just like, this is what EVs are. I'm like, well, that was yesterday's news, today's news. I mean, just things change so quickly. Tyler wants to know, used EVs are supposed to still have 90% of the battery life left, correct? I don't know.
Depends on the age of the vehicle and how new the batteries are, I think. and like what the range was in the first place. So a Nissan Leaf that originally had 100 miles of range and it has 90% of its battery life left, like even less than what it was, and that's not good.
Yeah, I don't think that's so that's interesting. Oh, and Scott Wick says, thing is you can't charge your EV in the garage. Actually, you can. There's studies that from Motor Trend now that in Europe they did a study that gas and diesel still outpaces EV fires by 10-1. So that's the thing. Things are changing so quickly. I mean, things are just making big changes. So speaking of big changes, what the hell is this? So Jill and I were just talking offline. So the Chevy Traverse was revealed today, and I actually watched a couple of videos on this because I was curious about it. The Chevy Traverse Z71 is now their premier package, which is their beefier BF Goodrich kind of offer, or what are they not BF Goodrich? Their beefier tires, their beefier underbody skid plates, stuff like that. And it's a 3-row unibody SUV, but it's very strong. It's very, very. And then you look at the other big we got revealed today, the Hyundai Santa Fe that looks like a Defender with its very out there looks. Like I'll pull up the if you haven't seen the videos and stories, we'll have more pickuptrucktalk.com as we get time. So
yeah, I'm in town this week, so I will be able to write this up. And I will say I am going to the official in-person reveal of the Santa Fe next week. So we should have a video and story and our own photos next week.
Yeah, so I'm curious about this. So the Santa Fe is very bold design. The Chevy Traverse is a very pretty much bold design. So Jill, I'm going to lean on you a little bit on this because this is more mom-mobile, I guess, still. So do you think this is going to give more moms the viewpoint of saying, yes, I want this big, strong SUV?
So here's what I think is going to happen.
Okay.
I think the dude is going to be like, I want this instead of a minivan.
Okay.
And the woman is going to be like, but how comfortable is it? Where am I going to put my purse? Like what are the more practical features of this vehicle? And and I haven't written this up yet. I've only skimmed the press release. And to Chevrolet's credit, it looks like they've added a whole bunch of standard safety equipment, which, by the way, should have been standard all along. So there's more standard safety equipment. There's more like nice up-level amenities. And so I think the dude can be like, hey, why don't we look at this? And the woman will be like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's comfortable. It's got safety features. It looks okay. But, my kids will fit in the back. I have place to put stuff in the cargo area, and I can see the practicality of it. So that is going to be I think the dude's going to want it, and the woman is going to be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I can see that." And that's what I think is going to happen. I don't think a woman is going to be like, "Oh, honey, this is really a sexy beast. I want the new Chevrolet Traverse." That's not how that conversation is going. The dude is approaching the woman.
I can't get the RS photos to load quite right, but I'm still laughing at what Jill's saying. Maybe we get the B-roll to launch. Let's see. Launch full screen. Go do it. So this is there's sound bites. I don't want sound bites. Oh yes.
You're like, bleh, no sound bites. No sound bites.
Where's
can
the
you fast forward through this is the reveal.
Yeah, that was the reveal. So I clicked the wrong one. So this is, again, we're looking at more closely details in C71. Listen to the podcast. We're looking at they're Goodyear. I guess I had it right. They're Goodyear Wrangler tires. Yeah. Which is a funny story that Goodyear made Wrangler take off the Wrangler name when they put them on Broncos. If you knew that backstory. Still funny. Z71, so the off-road package. So Jill's saying this is the dude's version, and somebody else said it's like a mini Tahoe. So it's a dude's version of a mini Tahoe that the wife is going to say, hey, standard safety equipment, or put my purse, that kind of stuff. I mean, it looks good. Quad tip exhaust. I mean, it doesn't have the same HDMI kind of ports like the Sierra has. And Silverado has. And these lights.
It looks okay. I mean, but for me, it would be like, how comfortable are the seats? Yes. Where am I going to put my stuff?
What are these little eyebrow lights you think of these days? Like these little LED lights with a bow tie up higher. Do you like the look on the front end?
Yeah. Okay. I don't not like it. How's that?
There you go. It's not wrong, as she always says. Traverse spelled out with a lettering on the side, which I was thinking kind of dorky. It just seems like it needs something else. I don't know. The black bow tie, which they've fought for and they've gotten. And then let's see, I'm just going to skip for a little bit. There's a lot of off-road versions of the Z71. Here's your interior. So they got the same kind of screen they're doing elsewhere. There's a Buick as well that has the same screen. And it's got a little volume knob. Looks like a nice steering wheel. The same controls. Probably got the same radio controls in the back of the steering wheel that typical GM vehicles have. Black bow tie there. We're looking at the door locks. Great. Some of these B-roll stuff is like looking at the door locks. Okay, fantastic.
Woohoo, stitching.
Awesome. Stitching. Z71 in the headrest, which you'd expect. But I was really surprised. I was watching some videos on this, and there's not much else going on in the Z71 interior. Like, just kind of it. Fold down the seats. All-wheel drive is optional. It's got the new 2.5-liter turbocharged engine, which the V6 goes away, which is, I'm sorry, that's pro. That's for it's par for the course these days. Everybody's dropping the V6s for emissions and power and torque. And then, yes, the father and son went camping. Oh, look! Oh, they got a Jill drawer.
But could Jill fit in there? Is the question.
I'm going to pause the video if you guys haven't seen this. There's a little a storage area that's, I guess, behind the rear wheels, and it's in the rear trunk area that holds, I guess, a soccer ball, a blanket, a bag. Boy, Jill, I'm giving you a 9 out of 10 fitting in there. That feels like a Jill storage space all day.
All right. Challenge accepted.
The boy's getting, so I don't see a release button though for like people stuck in there.
It's probably flimsy enough that you could push it up, but we'll see, because we know that little dongle that is in the escape hatch area is officially called the Jill button now.
It is. Yeah. There's a long story about that from was it Hyundai or Kia?
It was Hyundai.
All right.
In the Santa Cruz, actually.
This is the RS, which is more their street version. You can tell by the tires and the way it looks. I tend to think the RS is sharper looking than the Z71. And I think this one looks, yeah, I like that one. I like that look a lot better. Oh, it's got a sunroof. Oh my gosh, GM is doing a full panel sunroof. Criticized them for a while on that with the Chevy trucks and the GM trucks. Oh, it's twin panel. All right, and then you have controls. All right, fold down seats. Fantastic. So that was that. And the Hyundai Santa Fe, I don't have any sort of B-roll for, but that is a freaking Defender.
But I think that the Lexus GX was a freaking Defender. I think that's just a shape. It's a style of what people are going for with the more. But what I want to say is this is a vast and vigorous departure from the previous Santa Fe. Pull up pictures of the previous Santa Fe.
Oh yeah, Hyundai.
Because this is not like the GX. You expect to be like upright and rugged. So it was different, but like this is not that, and they are not related in any way. Like that is not the same.
I agree. It's not even the same vehicle at all. Like Hyundai is like gone completely off the rails in design. Good, bad, otherwise.
I think good. I think they have gone off the rails good. And what I really like about this is that it doesn't look like anything else that they've done, and I really think that they're starting to do that on purpose.
Do you think it doesn't look like the Palisade?
No, I do not.
Ooh. Hyundai Palisade. I think it looks like.
No, the lights. The grill is like curved.
I know that grill. That grill is so different.
The lights are very different. The side profile. The floating roof line. You don't have the C-pillar that kind of comes up. No,
No. Okay. Shaking her head. We're done with that one. She's saying no.
It doesn't look the same.
Looks like a Wagoneer.
No, I don't think it looks like a Wagoneer.
Interesting.
I think Defender is the right comparison. IMHO.
Yes. I don't know. It definitely a Defender views, which is not a bad thing. Defender has definitely a unique viewpoint to it, or styling view. Wow, I need another beer, whiskey, something. I'm running out of stuff. All right,
you need more water, is what you need.
I've been slamming another one of these. Oh my goodness. The amount of times
we only have your word for it that there's water in there. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Well, Jill, it's vodka.
I know. And no, I'm not letting Tim win once in a while.
I never win. All right, what else are we talking about tonight? I was thinking that Mrs. Carr questions answered says that conversation sounds familiar. Mrs. Carr. Oh, that's interesting. Mrs. Carr questions answered. What else talking about tonight? What else? There's not much. Frankly, folks, this is the dead time of year for the automotive market. There's two times. There's end of December to the 1st of January, which is usually a dead time, and then July. I was surprised to see the Palisade. I was surprised to see the Santa Fe got revealed. I was surprised to see that the Traverse got revealed, because usually this time period they don't do a whole lot with.
No, July is usually pretty empty, and I was not expecting to travel this month, and I had 2 trips last week, and I have 2 trips next week. So,
yeah, there's just a lot. I mean, I'm fortunate. I'm home for a while, and then I'll be going to Michigan, so I have that going on. And by the way, if you're at the Dream Cruise, hit me up. I'll be driving the 62 round, and I'll be at the Fuel Wheels display. I think that's what's going on there. Speaking of different trucks going on, I know that people are like, "What's going on with trucks, Tim? Damn it!" So we have Ram 2024 Ram 1500. It's kind of news out there, not really news. Andre over TFL did a story, and he basically looked at the brochure on ram.com, ramtrucks.com, and I'm not sure that's fully accurate, so I haven't really done a video on that. They're the 2024 Toyota Tundra. I believe I read somewhere it drops the green color, it adds another color. There's not many changes there at all, and I'm still seeing broken seats on that Toyota Tundra, so I'm curious if you're going to fix that. The Chevy Silverado, I'm not seeing anything there. Somebody did send me an IM on Instagram about the GMC Sierra 2024 GMC Sierra, and he said it looks like a copy and paste of the 2023 brochure. That they're not announcing a new diesel at all in the Sierra, which I thought they had. And there's questions about the max towing package on the Silverado and Sierra, whether they can still offer the 3-liter diesel, whether it's going to work or not. So that's interesting. As Ram, going back to the Dodge name, I think people have poo-pooed my video on that, but I still hold to that. I think there's some weirdness going on. And Jill and I talked offline about it, and it's weird. I don't know. I can't say one way or the other, but it is weird. Dakota rumors. Let's see, Jill, is every other day Dakota rumors or not? I mean,
well, and then the question is the Ram Rampage, the Dakota, is the Ram Rampage really coming to the United States? Will the Ram Rampage, if it comes to the United States, be body on frame or unibody? Is it going to be midsize? Is it going to be compact? Because if you look back at the history of that vehicle, it has been both. Midsize and compact. It's been both body on frame and unibody. I think, I don't know that Dodge is ever Ram is going back to Dodge. I don't know that that's going to be a thing. But I think that Ram would be stupid. I'm feeling very contrary today. Tom pointed that out in our car stuff podcast today. But I think I'm going to say it. I think Dodge or Ram would be stupid if they did not bring back the Dakota and they did not use the name. So if the Ram Rampage is supposed to be a mid-sized truck, I think that would be stupid. I think the Ram Rampage should be a compact truck, and I think that they have to bring back the Dakota.
I would agree. And it makes sense for it to come sooner rather than later. If you look at the numbers, even if they did the mid-size or compact, those two marketplaces are blowing up as far as overall sales, and they're still pretty hot. So it makes sense there. Ford, the new 2024 Ford F-150 should be coming out this year. Still waiting on that. I don't anticipate very many changes as far as trim levels, engine, transmissions. I think they make more stuff standard. They'll increase the price because people are just getting the options anyways. Nissan Titan. Did you? I need to grab the EKG machine and or whatever, the heart, and boom, boom, boom. I don't understand how the Titan XD is still around. I think Titan XD has got to go away at some point. And the Titan, I think Titan XD is just about, because it's dead in Canada.
Yeah,
just about left over.
All of Titan is dead in Canada.
Yeah, I think it's all dead. I think it just comes down to the fact they have more parts for the Titan than they do anything else. And so I see that becoming a change. Tacoma's coming out later this year. The Chevy Colorado's hitting dealerships. James Cannon's hitting dealerships, and the Ford Ranger should be hitting dealerships soon. So I think there's lots of stuff going on. Just right now. Brian Shirley says, Forerunner?
No, not
Nope,
this year.
not this year.
I think we will see it next year, and I think we will probably see it early next year, but it is not coming. We will not see an announcement for that vehicle this year.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and this is a question from Dave in Canada, and this question I have in my mind too. So, without Dodge trucks, what does Dodge have when they stop making the Challenger and Charger that 15-year-old designs? So, the Dodge has that
The Hornet.
the Hornet, and they have the EV. What do we call that? The Banshee was the
Oh
platform.
yeah, the Banshee is the well. I mean, it's a concept car, but I mean, I think they'll make it.
Right.
And they have the Durango still, but I think they're going to start electrifying things.
Yeah, so that's a question we've had for many years. Like Chrysler still exists, right? Chrysler's got had the 300 and it's got the Pacifica, but how can brands like Chrysler and Dodge live on with two vehicles? Like that's the question I have. Like you're putting all this marketing effort into a different name, and you have two vehicles.
And when in the heck is the Airflow going to come out from Chrysler?
Oh yes, the EV Airflow,
the concept vehicle that we've seen for like the last 10 years now. I
Right.
mean, it's not like 10 years, but like definitely the last 3 years we've seen the Airflow, and it is not out yet. When is that coming?
That's why my rumor was like I thought it made sense. Like if they took Ram trucks over to Dodge, it'd have more of a portfolio in one brand, easier to market, easier to do commercials on. But again, who knows what's going to happen with that. Rod Good wants to know, just on, have you covered the increase in warranty of the Silverado 2.7? I covered that last week, and my question last week was, does it matter to people? Jill and I were kind of reading the press release, and we kind of decided not to run it because it wasn't, I don't know, maybe we made a mistake there, maybe we didn't, whatever. But it's the same warranty as a Silverado diesel I actually have outside. And I don't know, is that a question? My question to you guys in the audience is, do you guys shop by warranty? Does it matter? I remember Nissan Titan came out with the best warranty in truck business, and that got a lot of people's opinion. A lot of people are like, oh, wow, look at that. But I don't know. I'm just curious what's going to happen with that. What do you guys think? They stand behind it, and I think that they really, from my viewpoint, with that 2.7 liter warranty was, they've been reading the comments. that's my viewpoint. They've been reading the comments on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and all kind of places, and I know people are really concerned about the life of the turbocharged engine and turbos, and so they just extended the warranty. I don't know. Gene says the Cybertruck will come out before the Airflow.
Well, and
actually,
and I think I just saw a headline about it.
They built one. They have one.
They have one. And Jay Ray said he thought he heard the Airflow was dead. And so I went back and I did a quick Google. And it looks like back in mid-May, there were a flurry of stories that did say something along the lines of, that the Airflow is dead and that they are going to have like a redesigned concept and they're going to rename it and they're not going to put Airflow in the name. And what I want to say is that's 3 years worth of like name recognition and showing shit around that they are now like killing it. Like, what the hell? To me, that's stupid. If they want to redesign the concept because 3 years have passed, totally get that. But like taking Airflow out of the name, like that's just silly stuff. Yeah. And this is why like they have one product in their lineup.
Right. Dave says Titan is dead. He said that for a couple of years, and I tend to agree with him. The sales are just the Honda Ridgeline outsells Nissan Titan, and I'm not bashing the Ridgeline with that comment. I'm just saying the midsize unibody truck outsells a full-size body-on-frame truck. That is huge for truck guys because that's just wow, really? Because they just don't anticipate that. Dave in Canada says when they increase the warranty like that, it means it's a piece of crap. I've heard that viewpoint before. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've heard that view. So people have said, well, if you give a warranty on it, that means you're not willing to stand behind it. And it's like, then companies like, we put a warranty because we're standing behind it. We're like, well, you shouldn't have to warranty something that long if it was a good product. I've heard that argument back and forth, and I don't know. It's interesting. Cybertruck production started today, Sly Rice says. And yeah, we saw one in a crowded group of people building it. A lot of people building that truck. And I'll be curious to see how mass production.
I think they're like screwing all of the screws in individually, so they need a lot of people to like.
Yeah, and somebody pointed out with the Tesla Cybertruck photo. If you haven't seen it yet, and maybe I can pull it up. If you haven't seen it yet, it's basically the Tesla Cybertruck surrounded by a bunch of people, and you only can see the top of the roof and maybe the windows. And somebody pointed out, they're like, why would you do your first offline vehicle where you can't actually see the vehicle?
Because they don't want anybody to see it. That's why.
And I was like,
they did that on purpose. That was not an accident.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. Yeah. So I don't know. Tesla is such interesting. I found out my uncle is actually got a reservation on Tesla Cybertruck, and I don't know. I was like, what the heck? I mean, some people like it. They like the game changing aspect of it. I get the idea behind it, but I just was like, you're one in like 900,000 people. Like your chance of getting one are very, very low. I'm trying to find the photo, and apparently, production assembly plant. Let me see if it goes to the assembly plant. Yeah, still no photos of that. I don't know what happened to the photo. Interesting. Anyways,
it's been wiped from the internet.
So wiped from the internet. The Googles took it down. So there's a photo of that. I'll be curious what that comes out. Yeah. So and Jim Brown says my Kia Telluride has one of the longest warranties he's ever seen. It's been the best vehicles ever owned. I've seen that viewpoint too. So Slyrise says I heard the scale is sized down from when they first showed it. They did make it smaller. I did hear that as well. It's on Twitter. Obviously it's on Twitter. So I heard to make it smaller because it doesn't really. It's just too big. And I have Twitter. Let's see what happens to Twitter.
Yeah.
Let's pull
and
it
I
up.
was like, oh, Twitter.
Oh yeah, Twitter. Are we still on Twitter? Are we back on? Are we on Threads? Are we not? I don't know what we're doing these days. Oh, here it is. I found it. Okay, so there, and I got to do this. So this is, and it could be a great truck, could be a great vehicle for people, but this is an interesting photo. like it's just surrounded, and so these guys are excited, and they should be. That's a lot of good jobs, lots of good going up, lots of good economy going on there. I'll just be curious to see how much it sells, and what to me, as I said with my family this weekend, I said, if stainless steel was such a great metal to use, and it's such a fantastic metal, we would all be using it. Every vehicle would have it. But there's clearly something I'm missing. There's got to be something that I'm missing with that because I just don't know. Yeah. Oh, we lost Jill. I didn't minimize Jill, by the way. Jill ran away. Gene, we are in Threads. I don't know if it makes sense business-wise. I did not minimize you.
No, I think I hit a button. I was trying to bring up Gene's comment about being on Threads, and I swiped apparently. So I have the magic mouse from Apple, and sometimes it doesn't like me. And so as I'm reaching for my mouse, my hands slide over the top, and it thinks I'm swiping, not swiping. And then it deletes everything that I had on my screen. So that was what was happening. But yeah, I was trying to. But yes, we are on Threads. But I mean, does Twitter make sense business wise?
Does social media make sense business wise? I don't know. You got to use it. I feel like we have to use it in our business. But I know some other outlets that I won't name have automated all of their Facebooks and their Twitters and such. And we've tried to do a little bit, but we want to still tag people. We want to be involved and read comments. I know some other outlets that don't respond to comments very much at all. They just skip all that kind of stuff. And so I feel like if you're on social media and you're not engaging with your audience, then what's the point? Because to me, if you're not engaging back and forth, why even have a business? Why even do that stuff?
No, and that's the way I feel about YouTube too. It's and people who put their content out there and then never respond to comments. Yeah, there are trolls. There's always trolls, yeah. but there's also valid people who have questions and comments and concerns. And I think you're not doing your job if you don't pay attention to that.
Right. No, I absolutely agree. That's the way we've always done business. I've always been, I'm very much animate in the comments. I do, at times, I may curate a comment just because it's complete garbage. I don't want to be on the channel. But I do read them quite a bit, and I try to respond quite a bit. I try not to be angry about it either, because I've learned through trial and error that I may read something a certain way, but it's not the way the person meant it, which is a tough part with social media as well. Yeah. So there's another question about it's so weird right now. This brought up this weekend too. So everybody's talking about electric, all these billions being spent on it, and then meanwhile GM spends multi-million dollars, hundreds of $1 million, on next generation V8 motors. So, gas and diesel isn't going away. As I was talking to that News Nation people today, I said, the people, the market, and I don't know if you know this, Jill, it's still, EV sales are still at they're still like, I think they're at 5% of the marketplace now.
I
They've
think I saw
jumped dramatically.
maybe?
What's up?
It's 5 or 6.
Yeah, it's 5 or 6. I mean, they've grown dramatically. It's grown dramatically in that many, and still 5 to 6% of the marketplace, which most of that's still in some sedans and SUVs. On the truck side, electric truck side, it's like 1%, maybe 0.5%, and we get 9,000 emails on top of that 1%. And so it's just crazy the way it's completely unbalanced in the media right now, in my opinion. That the media news stories on EVs overshadow the news stories on ICE vehicles like 10 to 1, but the sales are the exact opposite. Okay. Brandon wants to know what's on your list to buy this year. Should I tell people what I'm thinking about buying this year, Jill?
No.
Okay. That's
sorry.
The story.
No, and there's a very good reason for that, because there are people who watch what we do and are trying to compete with us, and they will buy it before we do.
Right.
So,
but does it matter? Because those people, we did better than they did, I think, in the videos last year.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Okay, there you go. There's your answer, Brandon.
I mean, if you're okay with it, I mean,
I think I'm okay with it. I mean, because it doesn't matter, because I think our content is unique enough that we stand on the marketplace. Okay, post your comments down below. Do you think that our channel is unique enough we can unveil these secrets without having people compete with us, or do you think that it's just something we shouldn't do? Comment below. We'll get a poll going. Can we do a poll? Is there a problem?
There should be a poll in a live, but I don't know that there is.
I know there is. So why don't we have a poll? So Gene's kicking around the chicken tax question, which is chicken tax is a 25% tariff on vehicles imported in the United States. Could a company bring a pickup truck through Mexico to avoid chicken tax? Yes.
Well, no. Bring a truck through Mexico. Build a truck in Mexico.
Yes. They could build a truck. They could build a truck. So you could build a truck. That's what's going on.
Because the Toyota Tacoma is built in Mexico.
Yes, and it doesn't have a tariff, so you can build it there. Can't pull it in. Pull is on YouTube Studio side. I don't know. But another channel is Thunder. What is it? Jill the Party Pooper. I think that's a very accurate. I think it's gonna be part of her LinkedIn profile from now on.
Just call me Killjoy.
Killjoy. Let's see. Wait, let people guess. Okay, you guys can guess. Let's see. Mark wants to know about EVs and environment. Yes. No. Well, if everybody, in my opinion, everybody went EVs and we eliminated tailpipe emissions from consumer vehicles completely, it wouldn't change the environment. We need more bigger changes. We need lots of bigger changes to make a difference. Air quality from 1970s has actually improved dramatically. I said this the other day, and this is something that it's a sports ball reference there, Jill. You may not remember this, but when I grew up watching the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh, their stadium is centered on Three Rivers Stadium, and they have three rivers that meet together that make up Pittsburgh downtown. I used to watch those games, Monday Night Football, that kind of stuff, and you couldn't actually see the stadium. You pan out, you couldn't see the stadium at all, right? And now when they show Pittsburgh, and they fly the drone over to see the city and all kinds of stuff for the Monday Night Football games, the city looks amazing, looks absolutely amazing compared to what it did 7 years ago. And if you look at the air quality reports from the U.S. government, our air quality has improved dramatically. So I don't think it's an air quality issue anymore. I think it's all about carbon. And I don't know. As my aunt and I agreed this weekend, the planet will survive. Will we survive? I don't know. The
planet will probably survive. It'll, may end up looking like the moon.
Right.
And there may be no oxygen left or life, but
yes,
the planet will live.
Right. Yeah. So I think so. Because I don't know. Yeah, I'm not going to read these comments out loud, but we're reading the comments on the site because I don't want to call people out. So there's a lot of debate going on there. What about Dave wants to know? This is a good question. What about full-size vans? They only change them once every 20 years. What is up with full-size vans? What's up with mid-size vans? Remember the Ram ProMaster City was really cool. The Ford Transit, the Transit City was cool. Now we have the Ford Transit, we have the Ford Transit E, we have the Ram ProMaster vans. I think vans are cool. I think
and Transit they're turning it into like a overlanding vehicle. Remember the video I did when I went and saw the and that video did surprisingly well. People are interested in that.
So let's get, this is the great part about live streams. So Jill, it was in Michigan, and I had just gone there, whatever. We get this invite, and I'm like, Jill, I just can't go. Because when I go to Detroit, it's like, I don't know what's going on.
3 flights for you to get to Detroit.
Yeah, Detroit is just
like a half an hour on a plane.
Oh my God, Detroit's nasty. And so I was like, Jill, you have to go. And Jill's like, you want me to go to this? I'm like, yes, Jill. I said, I don't know anybody else. Like, literally, you need to go. You're half an hour away. I think you went in the morning and came back the afternoon.
Yeah, I literally same day flew it.
Same day, and it was an overlanding van concept. And I'm not trying to
like a Trail Connect.
Yeah, I don't want to be rude to you, but I don't think it was something that was really in your wheelhouse to cover.
Nope.
Okay.
Not in my wheelhouse. Well, okay, so let's say this.
Right.
All vehicles are in my wheelhouse, but that's just.
Yeah, that was just a weird one. And so then Jill was like, Jill's like, what do we do? And I said, I think you did an intro and an outro and basically filmed the marketing guy. I mean, that's all you did. Yeah. And that video all of a sudden keeps getting more and more views. I don't know if I can actually pull it up, but it actually gets more and more views. And it's just a weird oddball to us because that's the problem with YouTube. And we don't know what you guys are truly interested in sometimes. Sometimes we guess. I know certain things will make a bigger benefit than other things. But this thing was a Transit Trail. Yeah, right there. It's a DOI camper, 9 minutes. Let me look at the analytics. And the analytics are 46,000 views. It's got 50 views in the last 48 hours. So yeah, we are. I'll put it in the comments. You guys can watch if you're doing the replay on this. But yeah, I don't understand this one. And Overland is huge right now. But the thing is, like, I've done overlanding videos before, and it doesn't do anything. So the only
thing I can say is there were like 10 of us there.
Yeah.
So nobody was really covering it, but the people who are interested in this are interested.
Right. So David Cannon wants to know, why not drop a van body on the pickup frame and 4x4? They do. I flew years ago to Salt Lake City because the Nissan dealer there was converting the Nissan, the big van, the NV, before they killed it, I think it is. He put it on a Titan body and Titan frame and pickup, four-wheel drive, as a four-wheel drive off-road van. It was like the greatest thing since like 1984. I mean, it just was. I mean, it's fantastic. So yeah, so they do that, but it's not from factory, and so I think it's interesting that they don't do that because it's like, remember the Ford Maverick, and people were like, well, why would you build this thing? This thing's stupid. Now the Ford Maverick's like the best pickup truck you've ever seen, the only pickup you ever need, right? And so things are blowing up. So, and then Ford's like, we didn't know the demand would be so high. We're gonna end up having to build more of these things, I guess. Like automakers are sometimes stupid. Like they're just absolutely stupid in the way their marketing comes out. Like, how would you know that's not a hit? With overlanding, like you guys have said, overlanding is so massive right now. Why wouldn't there be a van overlanding? Because, from a van standpoint, you pull over, you turn it off, lock the doors, you crawl in the back, and there's your sleeping bed. And you lay out, don't do a tent. The doors are locked. The rain comes through, the wind howls. Who cares? You're inside the van.
You don't have bugs.
Bugs, exactly. I mean, and so it's no, that's not happening. Gene wants more landing videos from Jill chopping wood in a white dress. No.
Yeah, by the way, I do not own a white dress.
You don't even, yeah.
I'm pretty proud of myself that I actually own a pair of white pants.
Okay.
And that is me adulting. Like when I'm wearing white pants, because I'm messy and I spill and that's me adulting.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's the way Jill is. I didn't see Jill's knees for a long period of time. So a dress, no.
Well, I could do it like below the knees. I don't know.
Jim Brown, when I first heard of the Maverick, I knew it was going to be a big hit. I agree. I don't understand why automakers don't like. I don't know. I just in my view.
You really agree? Did you? I seem to recall you thinking it was stupid.
No. I thought it'd be a big hit, but not. It wouldn't be this is the only truck you need.
No. You were like, this is not a truck. This is stupid. I don't know why they're doing this. Nobody needs this.
Don't even. It's a small pickup. We argued about what to call it. I still do not call it a truck. I call it a small pickup. But I think,
and I'm just gonna say you did not. You're going back in time and you're having a revisionist history now.
correct. So what I'm saying is, I think they've done a good job with that, and I'm just surprised. I'm surprised there's not more vehicles in the compact truck segment, because you've driven the Hyundai Santa Cruz off-roading. You did a Rebel with it. You've driven her on top. You've driven that vehicle more than I think any journalist in the country has driven that vehicle.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that like Maverick isn't in. Like, if Ford doesn't put the Maverick in Rebel this year, they're stupid.
Yeah, I don't know.
Gauntlet thrown, Ford.
I don't know. There's a lot to be said for that. So I don't know. It's interesting. You've seen full size truck sales. Why would they think a small truck would sell well? I don't know. I think it's because, and Brian Shirley brings up, is urban runabout is what the Maverick is. It's just a fact of the matter is Ford did not have a car. It's Ford's car. That's what the Maverick is, Ford's car. And Hyundai has a sales hit in the head because Hyundai didn't have a truck. So I think both companies got something they needed from that vehicle. I'm surprised I haven't seen a tricked out Maverick yet. Oh, I've seen somebody lower the Maverick down and put some street tires on it. It looks pretty cool. It does look pretty cool.
I just want to thank you.
No, I'm taking it down.
Jill's right about that. Jill's right about a lot of things, by the way.
No, I think I'd call it a little pickup. That'd be fine. Yeah, I don't know. It's the marketplace is really cool right now, and it's so fun to be in the marketplace. It's so fun to check stuff out because everything's changed so fast. It absolutely changed very fast. All right. I have to tell you, I'm going to wrap this stuff up, but I have to tell you that I took a sedan this week, Jill.
What are you going to do with that?
Well, apparently I had a gap in my rotation.
As
they sent me a sedan, which I'm doing a review for our friend Paul Strasser. They're awesomer.
Okay.
Let's not with that. But I want to tell you that in a couple weeks, get the BMW XM, which is a plug-in hybrid SUV, and I'm having this huge. I guess it's plug-in. I don't know. Somebody said it's plug-in. I'm not going to sure. But I've had this huge run of Mercedes-Benz and BMW and Mercedes-Benz. But this here is 44 pages of the press release for the BMW 760i X-Drive sedan that retails for $162,000.
And you're going to read all of that, right?
Actually, we've flipped through it not a dozen times. We've flipped through it a couple times because I don't know I can't read all the small print on the sales sticker. I actually don't know about this because I don't do sedans. I have no idea what this thing is. So I'm going to do it for the Awesomer. Maybe you guys check it over there if you want to, whatever. But it is quite frankly the swankiest BMW I've ever seen. The press fleet guys are calling it the Rolls Royce BMWs. It's an executive lounge seating package where you recline the seats and put your feet up. He's got a 31-inch 8K LCD TV screen. Have you guys ever heard of 8K? I heard of 4K. I think I've heard of 4K, right? There was a
4K is on your phone.
Yeah, there's a big push, but 8K? I don't know. Yeah, yeah. Good luck. Yeah, so that was my week, and then I get a Mercedes-Benz tomorrow, GLC. I had the GLE, and now we're getting the GLC.
You get more Mercedes than I do. That's hilarious.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Weird. And I would tell you right now that I struggle typing in Mercedes. I'm not sure how to always spell it. I'm always like, is it a hyphen Benz? The Benz with a Z.
Hyphen
so then,
Benz. Yes, the Z.
I think they sent it to me just to mess with me because I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. But yeah, so there's a Mercedes-Benz GLE and then the BMW XM, and then apparently a Chevy Colorado is in the fleet coming soon. So maybe I'll get that end of mid-August, something like that. So that's my current lineup. Do you have anything fun coming, Jill, your way?
Let's see. Fun for me right now. I'm in the BMW M2. Not that you guys care about that, but I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Right. That's the small. Did they make an M1? Is that the smaller one? Is it M2 is the smallest?
Because they do an M1 because they have the M2, they have the M3, and they have the M5. I don't know that they have an M1.
I know because the BMW makes it an 8 Series sedan too.
Yeah,
but I didn't realize 8 Series is actually a 2-door. Right?
Can be. It's not always.
Okay.
I feel like I had a 4-door 8 Series recently.
Because I feel like the 7 is the longest one.
I think actually the 8 is now the biggest, but But yeah, so I'm currently driving the M2, but I'm like, let me see, what do I have coming up that might be considered fun? Because next week is just reveals. I get to see the EX30 in New York, and then the Hyundai Santa Fe in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and then Wednesday. This is not going to be great, but it could be interesting. I get the GMC Sierra Denali Ultimate 2500.
Right. Oh yeah. We've been talking about this offline. So the question is, what's Jill going to do with the Denali Ultimate 2500, 2500, 3/4 ton in Chicago? So that video is going to be awesome because if you watch the Ram TRX video that she did, drive around town, trying to park it, trying to use it to drive through, that was the best video. That was hilarious. So yes, something going on there. Let's see some of the questions. Dan wants to know, Dan riding fun. Will the Hyundai Tucson PHEV be sold in 50 states? I don't think so. I think it's going to be demand only on that. And I think that Hyundai is not a big enough manufacturer. I think they're going to maybe offer it in more states, but it just comes down to demand.
Yeah, and I think I could see it being able to be ordered in all 50 states, but I think you're right. I think it's going to be demand.
Jim Brown wants to know, Tim, do you think the performance and fuel economy of plug-in hybrid vehicles are worth the increased price? Nope. So moving along, that comes. No, I mean it really comes down to me. I'm such a practical guy. So the Mitsubishi, I'll say this again. I called this a few times. Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV. Jill and I disagree on this one, but I believe that the price increase for the plug-in hybrid version of that over the gasoline version is just too big of a price delta to overcome. That you'll never get the ROI back on that. And it's just my practical viewpoint. The Mercedes-Benz, the GLC I just had, that was $10,000 more for the plug-in versus the gas. 10,000 and I got 60 miles of range. That felt more better to me. That felt like we're getting closer to making something make sense. Yeah, so I don't know.
Here's the thing. Like, you have a very different living circumstance than I do. And I think that a plug-in hybrid in Chicago for somebody who has a garage who can charge it every night, I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think that somebody like that would make their money back a lot faster and it would make more fiscal sense. Now, somebody like you who, like, to get to the grocery store, you have to drive 3,000 miles. Like, no, it doesn't make sense. But for somebody like me, where you drive a mile to get to the grocery store or 2 miles to get to the gym or whatever, I think a PHEV makes a lot of fiscal sense as long as you're plugging that sucker in. And a lot of people don't plug in. And then, no, it doesn't make sense. If you're not going to plug it in, don't buy that vehicle.
Yeah. One more. People talking about Nissan Armada apparently had a sales increase. I did not see that. I was busy doing truck stuff. But I would guess it's, yes, full-size SUV buyers are not as brand loyal as other buyers are. I know my neighbor is a Ford truck guy, and he bought a Nissan Armada a couple years ago because his wife wanted the bigger SUV. It looked a little different. I would theorize it's more about supply and demand. The Canton plant, Dave would correct me because he's worked at different Nissan plants, is that the product mix. Maybe they built more Nissan Armadas for the last segment because Nissan Armada is an older design, has less microchips than the newer vehicles do, and so they might be able to build more of them right now because of parts availability. So yeah, this is a key question. Dwayne wants to know, Jill, when are you going golfing? So Jill has a set of golf clubs now.
I bought golf clubs yesterday.
She's very proud of them. She posted.
They're orange. So match my pink golf shoes.
Right. So you have golf shoes and you have golf clubs, and I'm sure you can figure out something to wear. So you're all ready to go. Your apparel's set, your golf club set, shoes are set. So to be determined on that, or do you have plans?
Well, so my brother-in-law's family, they do a golf outing every year in memoriam of my my brother-in-law's father-in-law, or father. And so that is August 12th. And okay. I've already told my husband I am planning on playing with him. And he was like, wait, you are? And I'm like, yep, I'm going to play in this golf outing with you. And he's like, really? And I'm like, yep. And so I don't think he's terribly excited to have me come play in this golf outing with him. And he's like, at least it's best ball. Because right now, like, the most I can hit a golf ball is like 50 yards.
Yes.
I can't hit it very far.
It turns out that people don't know, and Jill's learning this, is that golf is really hard. It's mental, it's physical, it's a lot of things in your head. I mean, it can become a
It's
really
not mental. It's like I don't even care. I'm just like like 50 yards, 50 yards, 50 yards. I don't care. I don't care. And he's like, I can't wait to see you get all upset and frustrated. And I'm like, you got to care to get upset and frustrated. And I don't care. Like, he's going to get more upset and frustrated than I am. That is going to be the funny thing. That's going to be hilarious. He's going to be like, I can only play 9 holes with you. I can't take it anymore.
So on the flip side of this, Brian Shirley wants to know, Tim, share your running log. So on the flip side of this, if you know my health issues the last couple of years, I've been taking a new pill for my nerve pain, and I've been actually bike riding lately, which I used to bike ride a lot. I used to do 100-mile bike rides, stuff like that. So I've been bike riding more, and I bought some swanky, cool sunglasses for my road bike. So I could post. I'll post an update on that. I went for a bike ride today. I'm really going slowly because I was so here's the deal. I started running like in March, I think it was. I ran March to like May. Golf season came up, and it's tough with golf season. And then I had a wild hair to say this new medicine I'm taking, maybe I can bike again, because I used to love going out for a couple hour bike ride. Just loved it. Because I have a very my mind works really fast, and so bike riding or golfing, I can put my mind aside and just focus what I'm doing, and so it's fantastic. And so I'll do an update. My limiting factor still is my hands. As far as the nerve pain, and I'm working with my doctor to get past that. Once I get past that, I mean, I went for a half an hour ride today, and I probably could have done, my legs felt good enough, I probably could have done another half an hour, thanks to running. So running and biking uses similar muscles, and I've been running so much for the last couple months that really I get on the bike now, and I can go a ways, thankfully, from the running stuff. So my goal is to keep doing my running, and doing the biking, and then getting end of August, I'll probably do a lot more running and slow down the golf a little bit to kind of make up for that. But I feel like today, and Jill's running with me, I feel like today, with my slow cadence of running, which I appreciate slow cadence, I believe I could probably do the 5K today if I were to go out there and feel rested and feel good and have a good breakfast. I feel like I could do it. That's what I want to say. Golf, come on, try playing hockey, Tim. I did play hockey when I was a kid, so I've done that.
I played lacrosse. I never played hockey, but I did play lacrosse.
Yeah. So there's smoke. Oh yeah, that's a good question for Jill. How is the smoke affecting your running? I've been curious about this because so I live in an area right now. Visibility is terrible. Our air quality is awful because of the Canadian wildfires that are letting them burn. But that I was looking at the other day, that smoke cloud's heading your way, and you just had it 2 weeks ago, something like that.
No, it like was it yesterday? Like you couldn't even see the city because it was just so covered in smoke. And I'm dealing with a little bit of a hamstring injury at the moment. So I'll be honest with you, I haven't been running, but I've been out walking, and I get up early and I go out early before it gets really hot and really bad. But if I were running, it would be the same thing, but I have asthma. So I have to be very careful about running outside in this. And like I was sitting outside the other day and it was smoky. And then my neighbor came outside below me and started smoking a cigarette. And I was like, nope, I'm done. Like the cigarette just pushed me over the edge. And I like coughed for like an hour after that. And I was just like, ah.
Yeah. 2 more comments around here. Outside of review says he's 42 and still play hockey. I would still play hockey, but I live in Nebraska. There ain't no ice rinks around here. There's one of my frustrations. We were just down in Lafayette, Colorado. They have a whole like 3 or 4 locker rooms for ice hockey in the building. Here in Nebraska, we have nothing. There's nothing. And the final comment tonight comes from Stephen Innes. I'm going to say. Hi, Tim and Jill. I'm from Alberta, and I have a 2022 GMC AT4 refresh. Had it for 1 year and it has the LM2 engine. Always keep my trucks 10 years plus. Really appreciate it and enjoy your content. So thank you for that, Stephen. That makes us feel good that we're actually doing something that, well, people like. So let's see. For more, check us out on the website at pickuptrucktalk.com. And we actually use social media quite a bit. If you're on Facebook, that's my preferred platform. But we are on Threads, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, all that kind of stuff. Find us over there. we will respond. I do actually, shocker, I do respond to emails, tim@pickuptrucktalk.com. I do respond to comments, and for better or worse, and so I'm always responding to stuff. So if you have questions, let me know. I will. I'll answer them best I can, or I'll just put Jill in charge of it. She'll take care of it.
I ignore all comments on social media. What are you talking about? I'm kidding. If I can, I try to respond and I try to look as well.
As long as you're not in the airport.
You are.
As long as you're not in the airport at 3 a.m., you're going to respond.
God, that was like last week was, and then I just have to tell you, trying to get somebody from United on the phone, and I'm a 1K flyer. I don't say that to be like, I'm a 1K flyer, woo, and titled and privileged, woo. No, that means I don't spend enough time with my husband. That's what that means.
Yes.
But what happens when you get that level of status is you're supposed to like have your own dedicated phone line. You're supposed to be kicked to the front of the line. When you hear you have 20 minutes like on hold, like it's really more like 3 or 4. I was on hold for 45 minutes. Nobody ever picked up the phone. And finally I was just like, hang up. And then I like called back. And I mean, the first person I got on the phone didn't understand, like, because I had this weird situation where my flight wasn't canceled. It was essentially just delayed 20 hours. And so, and diverted and leaving from a different airport. And so the boarding pass wasn't showing up on my phone. I wasn't getting any updated information about my flight. And so I'm like trying to figure out, I'm like, okay, do I take this Albany, New York boarding pass and they'll let me through security in Indianapolis? That seems weird to me. And like trying to get anybody on the phone was like painful. And the first woman I managed to finally get on the phone was like, oh, I'm sure it's fine. I don't know what that means, but I'm sure it's fine. And I'm like, it's kind of like those commercials with that was the comedian, for that insurance, and I'm completely blanking, but yeah. the Tracy Morgan, and he does those, are you sure? Or are you like, are you sure that's a parachute or is it a backpack? Here, let me push you out of the plane and find out. No, I don't want to, I'm sure. So I had to talk to like 5 people before I finally got to the person who was like, this is the situation. I had to hang up the phone and call them back. One person even hung up on me. And so I just like, I am so like, and there is no other option flying. I mean, American, but come on, that's not really a good option. There's no other option flying out of Chicago. So I had a horrible, horrible travel experience, and customer service for United was just flipping awful. And I'm like so hacked off. So sorry, that was complete divergent from like Tim trying to leave,
I was trying to leave it 7 minutes ago, but that's all right.
Yeah, he's trying to sign off, and I'm just like, let me talk about my experience flying. You had to bring it up, didn't you?
Well, do you feel better?
Not yet. I need to rant a little bit more. But they were just like, I tweeted at them, I called them, I tried like everything I could to like get a human to help me, and it was just unpleasant. But that's the way of customer service these days. Oh, and the gate agent in Indianapolis, like, she's going to get no love from me either. Like, they booked me on an earlier flight. Like, I'm talking on the phone to United. The person who was actually helpful, she books me on a flight leaving earlier than the, like, TBD, whatever, that's supposed to be leaving. I'm confirmed, but I can't get the boarding pass. She says, go to the gate agent. They'll get you the boarding pass. I go to the gate agent. She's like, we're already delayed. I can't help you. And I was like, but no, I'm confirmed on this flight. Do you have a seat? And she's like, I have 1 seat, but I can't help you. And I was like, 1 seat? I'm confirmed on this flight. Give me a boarding pass. Ah, sorry. Okay, now I feel better. Thank you.
All right, there we go. That's all we got for tonight.
On that note,
we are out. As always, thanks for watching. We will see you down the road, not in an airport.
No.